everybody, this is CBK at Bullspit Movies and TV, and I'm gonna get that right someday. I'm gonna get it right, and I'm gonna say it properly without going movies or TV. Anyways, with that being pushed aside, I'm gonna talk about Back to the Future. Not a whole lot, but I mean, I'll probably talk about it more and more as we go along. Yes, Back to the Future, I agree, is one of the greatest trilogies of all time. Even if they make movies after this, the original three great movies. It's rare that a movie will come out and like a sequel will come out and it'll be great. Like it'll be better than the first one or just as good. There's only a couple trilogies that have done that. Back to the Future being one of them, and Star Wars. Empire Strikes Back was probably the best sequel I could even think of, honestly. And if someone has any ideas on great sequels, leave them in the comments below, and seriously tell me. I want to know. I want to know what great sequels I'm missing out on, or what I'm not thinking of right now. But Back to the Future, definitely sequel's awesome, and Empire Strikes Back. But with that being said, there is no shortage of plot holes and all that kind of fun stuff in these movies, but they are great movies. They're imaginative, just all around great movies. I would not be the screwed up kid I am today without Back to the Future and Star Wars. These are two movies that probably molded the crap out of me, next to like Batman, which you obviously already know because you watched the other shows, right? I'm watching you. No, I'm just kidding. Anyways, with that being said, second movie, the reason why I loved it so much was just based on the fact that it was in the future and all that stuff. Like, I mean, it was really a neat representation of the future, and not a lot of movies and shows have, like, you know, made a semi-realistic or try to make a realistic version of the future. Usually in future movies at this point, it was either the world is falling apart, or everything went to shit, or everything's too fucked up, or, you know, I mean, even Demolition Man came out after this and everything was too nice in the future. You know, I mean, this is one of the first feel happy good movies where it takes place in the future, I find. And if there is other ones, please leave comments below. I want to check out these movies and prove me wrong. But that's not why we're here today. Let's get to the point. I'm going to point out some flaws in these movies, because they're just, I've seen these movies a million times and I have to. First flaw that I can think of off the bat, gigawatts is gigawatts. Being in the career that I am, or anyone that deals with dimensions of some sort. I mean, everyone knows it's mega and giga, right? And killa before mega, obviously. And actually, everyone knows that now, because, I mean, your computer information is in killa, mega, giga, and gigawatt is non-existent. It was actually just a mispronunciation, but we go 21 gigawatts. That's just part of our pop culture, and we accept it. And who gives a crap? It's still a great movie, nonetheless. But it's just funny because a gigawatt. What the hell is a gigawatt? It's nothing because it doesn't exist. And what I came here to actually talk about today was my paradox. Okay, I'm going to talk about the ending of the very first movie, and this is just my takes on it, and how many things are just wrong with it. And this is where I start. How could they accurately perceive the time exactly at midnight? Well, was it midnight at so many milliseconds or whatever? How could they calculate it exactly perfectly where they would be hitting that line at the exact time? I mean, they didn't even have digital time at the time, right? So I mean, I'm sorry, hitting it precisely within the exact minute even was highly unlikely, right? I mean, that's just a physical impossibility. Moving on to the second thing, even if they could get the timing down properly to hit this line so electricity would hit it properly, I mean, what are the likelihood that you would get it on time? Doc said that, hey, you have to leave exactly at this moment, at this time, to get here on time so you can go into the future. Well, he doesn't, because the car fucking stalls on him and he can't even start it. And banging your head on the steering wheel will never get your car to start, no matter how hard you try. Still awesome scene, but totally full of shit. And I mean, whatever. It is what it is. So, with that being said, he was already late, so he wouldn't have hit that thing on time. But he did, because, you know, there was the error in time that we were talking about. Okay. But, with that being said, I have to point this out as well. Couldn't, you know, Doc made a better design than a fucking hook? Like, why wouldn't he make some sort of extendable thing? Or even, like, electrical cable. Once the electrical hook on the cable gets pulled off of the end of it, then the cable follows behind him. Wouldn't that have been a smarter fucking, you know, design? I'm sure they made extension cables at the time, you know, like, just have a long fucking electrical cable with a hook on it. When the fucking hook grabs it, the cable's still following him at a certain speed. Wouldn't that give you a little bit of time to fucking get it right at least? Just saying. I mean, do your R&D, Doc. I mean, you're supposedly a smart guy. That would have made more sense to me, even. Like, even that. I mean, there's probably even better ideas than that, but that would have been a smart thing. Hook with extension cord unravels like a fucking, you know, harpoon gun. You know what I mean? How hard would that have been? But that's not where I'm going with this. So, this all goes to, okay, fucking actually gets into time, back home. Now, we're in a time machine, so he's gonna go back early and warn Doc. Well, here's the problem with that. If he actually successfully got back to his proper time to warn him, and his car was fucking working, it didn't crash or whatever, guess what? So they escaped the fucking Liviets or whatever they are, the terrorists, and hunky-dory, right? Well, no. I mean, now that he warned Doc that he's gonna die, well, Marty is still there. So they can just fucking take off, and Marty would still stay there. He would have no reason to escape into the future by accident, or into the past by accident. So now there would be two Martys. That's a paradox. So Marty going back to warn Doc ahead of time would have completely fucked up everything anyways. Just saying. I'm just trying to think, is there anything else I have to say about that, actually? No, it's just, you know, that doesn't make sense. And, oh, and here's the other thing, too, is if he's like, I got a time machine, I can make time, why wouldn't he just, you know, and he didn't give a shit about the Marty paradox, why wouldn't he just, like, hey, you know what, instead of setting 15 minutes ahead of time, just go back a fucking day early? Right? And when he talked to Doc on the fucking phone, you know, when he blew up his expensive stereo equipment, which I'm not sure what Doc needed for in the first place, he could have just said, hey Doc, you know that experiment you're working on? I've been to the future, I know, just hear me out on this, because you did build a time machine, it does work. Yeah, those Liviet guys, they're gonna fucking find you at Twin Pines Mall, or Single Pines Mall, or whatever the fuck it is now. And by the way, kill my other fucking self. So, yeah, that's my paradox problem in the first Back to the Future movie. Great movie and all that stuff, but there is a serious plot hole there, serious plot holes in that particular part of the movie. So either way, it's a great movie. It just had some plot holes in it, but that's where I'm at with it. I just figured I'd point out some of those things, and I might point out more as I go along. Those are some major ones that stick out to me, and I just think they're funny and they're neat to think about. But it's a future movie, so who gives a shit, right? I mean, there's gonna be always things that don't add up, and that's because it's not something that exists as time travel, and that's why it's fucked up, and it makes no sense to us, right? But with that being said, good night, Canada and America, and don't forget to eat. And I give these 3 movies 5 out of 5, star out of star. So good night.